Hey, so it's about time I made a video about Fest. I keep meaning to do it during Fest, but I mean, there's actually very little to look at because the board's clean. Acceptance all right until the end, and then it's like Sunday and I'm not interested. But this is the time to prepare for Fest. I know we've just finished Fest, but this is the time to start preparing for the next one. And this is what a lot of newer players don't realize, and that is that Fest is the big event, and saving up your stuff for Fest actually makes a great deal of sense. Primarily, we're looking at the fact that your guild is going to set some kind of a minimum. Usually, 1,000 is the first minimum that a guild sets, and then they start inching it up, inching it up. I don't like very high minimum. I find 1.3 suits us. We could probably go up to 1.4, 1.5, but some of our smaller members might struggle with that. So we're sort of idling along. I don't like too much pressure. If you're already doing Gold Gauntlet, you absolutely do not need this video. This is for guys that are starting out in a game and they're trying to discover what to do about Fest. Okay, so the first thing is, well, up here, when it's Fest, you will see the Guild Fest board, and you'll go there and you'll select quests. When you select quests, it's important to select quests that are not going to put you below the guild minimum. So if your guild minimum is 1,000, you cannot take a quest under 100 points, or if you do, you need your next quest to be 120 points, and so on. So as a guideline, I like to say, well, take a quest that will give you at least the average score you need in order to reach minimum. But there's a problem with that. If you fail one quest, you're going to be under minimum. And if you're under minimum, you're going to get kicked. Some guilds will kick you permanently for that. We just kick them for gifts. And then after gifts, we let them back in again. But yeah, so it goes. Now, it's been a long time since I did the smaller gauntlets. But I do know that those smaller gauntlets, there's a lot of bad quests. So you need a very good R4 team. Ideally, you want a guild leader who's going to promote a lot of people to rank 4 to help keep the board clean. Because without that, it's very, very difficult to find good quests. But let's suppose all of those things are in place. What do you need for Fest? Well, theoretically, you can do Fest without anything. But then you have to be online a lot. And you have to be very, very careful about the quests you take. So for a quest that will take nothing, then maybe I look at getting Essence, Darknest Essence, being a Darknest Rally Captain. You can always finish it on level 1s if you still have a weak castle. Higher up on the different gauntlets, you will get Essence 19 plus, and here I must warn you, if you are dependent on other castles to do it, they are going to get a little bit annoyed with you if you keep nagging for that. So if you do take it and you can't do a level 5, go out there, scout the nests, and try and discover what it is you should be looking for in order to recommend a nest to people at the very least. When it gets to Guildfest, I mean, I'm constantly doing rallies. Now, another thing that you want to have for Fest is gems. If you look up there in my top right-hand corner, I've got no problem. There's 100k spend gems in a purple gauntlet. I like it. I'll take it. In the lower gauntlets, you get to spend, I think it's 50k gems. And you would then use your gems to get those points. What would you buy? Depends on what you need. Probably you're going to be buying shields. Alternatively, you're going to be buying, if your buildings aren't maxed over here, your prison, altar, etc., battle hall, you will be buying the things you need to upgrade that. So, there's always something to spend gems on. If you've got enough shields, you've already got your battle hall and that lot up, then you're going to be buying speeds. It's always something to do with spending gems. So that is a good, easy quest. Other things that you might want to save would include your these things, your XP elixirs. It depends on the quest. There's various ones, high ones, low ones, but you're looking at around about 12 of these for your average increase familiar XP with items other than fragments. The other one that you might want is fragments. There's a very good spend 600 fragments quest. There's a reasonable spend 300 fragments quest, and that is a quest that you get done in minutes. All you need is the fragments. So, if you're going to be spending the fragments, you're most likely going to go to a familiar, and let's see if I can find one that I can upgrade with fragments. Here we go. And you would then go here by the plus, over here by the plus, and then you would select either XP elixirs. That's if it's for increase familiar XP items other than fragments, or else you would go to the fragments and you would dial in however many you want to use. This camera is messing with me. You know, I can't do 600 fragments because I don't have 600 fragments. But yeah, that's what you do, and you click use, and then bow, you've got a quest. So keeping those fragments, keeping those XP elixirs for Fest makes a great deal of very good sense. Another thing that you can do with your gems, if you've got a spend gems quest, and this comes to stacking quests. So in other words, you take a spend gems, you buy something you need for another quest, and then you do that quest. And one of those would be certainly Tycoon. Tycoon is very worth doing unless it is Voodoo Shaman. I don't like doing Voodoo Shaman. Yes, you get champion stuff there, but as a free-to-play, if you're a free-to-play, you are so not going to get good champion gear without spending money, so why bother? I might as well take this gemming gremlin. So your Tycoon quest is going to say encounter guardians. This is the guardian, the gemming gremlin, and it's kind of worth doing. You can get quite good points. There's several of them going all the way up to over 200 points for a quest, but for them you need those tokens, and to get the tokens you need to buy the tokens. So you would go here and you would go, I always buy 100 tokens. I mean, if you look at the prices of these things, it's not worth buying less. So yeah, I would do that. And there you go. I've got spent 60k gems at a stroke, and I'm ready to do at least one, maybe even two of the Tycoon quests next Fest. Of course, Holy Stars. Again, there is a time when you're not going to want to do this quest, or you're going to want to wait for the monster in the labyrinth to change. At the moment, we have Jade Worm, which is actually quite nice. But if it's Frostwing, don't do it unless you're looking for resources, because that's primarily what you're going to get out of Frostwing is resources. What we want is these materials here, because they're extremely rare. At the moment, I'm very interested in Glowing Eye and Ancient Blueprints. I'm not so interested in Griffin Cores, and my Jade Coronator's gold's going to be forever before it's mythic, so yeah. Eventually it will be useful. Another thing to save over here in Artifact Fair is the artifact coins. Very good quest. I think it is for 20k. There's another one that's a little bit lower, and there's one that's a bit higher. But yeah, it's a nice easy quest. Again, you just have to spend your tokens there. And if you've got them, you can spend them. But if you've already spent them, you don't have them, and you shouldn't take that quest. Okay. Yeah, other easy quests. I mean, look, we all know about Gathering. I'm not going to go into Gathering. It's not my favorite quest. I hardly ever take it. On a very difficult KVK, I might take a Gather Resources, ordinary resources. I'd never do Gather level 5. I know some people like it, but it is a seriously frustrating quest, because especially in a full kingdom, because you only get level 5 tiles around the base. And yeah, you're going to have to clear those tiles if they're not properly full. Look where the next one spawns, find the full one, race towards it, and somebody else is of course going to also be racing towards it. The people get really cross with each other, and it's just, to me, high stress and not something I want to do. But yeah, some people like it. So that's it for Gathering. I'm not interested really in Gathering, but I mean, if you do gather, you're going to go into Gather Talents, which are in your growth gear. Wrong place. Over here, and innate talent. Yeah, you're going to be going into your growth talents, which I'm not going to do. Oh, am I in growth talents? Good heavens bless me. I actually beat a level 6 nest in this. This is crazy. Okay. Good to know. But yeah, you're going to have your gathering talents over there. Oh, actually, I'm not. I'm just looking at the preset there. I am definitely in war talents. Phew, I got myself really confused there. I definitely beat that level 6 in war talents. Thought so. Okay. So yeah, you can gather. It's not my favorite, but you can do it. Just be ready to send out your gatherers fairly frequently, and best of luck with that. Okay, what else do we need? Familiar attack talents. Use familiar attack skills. The most accessible of these is, sorry, I'm in the wrong building. The most accessible of these is to Pyrus people, because Pyrus is cheap. You do have to forge the skill stones, and buying the materials to forge the skill stones, if you don't have them already, it's going to cost you in gems, probably about 10k gems, if I remember correctly. to buy 5 of them. So this is another stackable quest. You can go for Forge Skill Stones. Forge Skill Stones is a nice 150 point quest for forging 3 skill stones. It's quite low on your merge speeds, usually. And you've got this Blazing Trail kills, you know, a certain amount of the lowest tier troops. So, you know, this is kind of a slap on the wrist attack familiar. Sometimes you get lucky and you find someone who's got only high tier troops and you go, yes, I'm getting tier 4 for this. But usually you're going to be getting tier 1 kills. But, you know, it takes a little while to refresh. But yeah, you can take the familiar attack skills 2, 3, or 4. Just make sure that you know what your refresh time is, because the lower level your skill is, the longer it takes for that refresh time, and you can't speed that. So, you know, you have to do a little bit of the math there. So what else will you be saving? You're going to be saving gems, you're going to be saving XP elixirs, you're going to be saving speeds because of hell event quests, and also increased might quests. Now, when I'm training troops, I really, really like increased might. It's 190 something points. I like it better than hell events, because hell events means watching the board for hell events that are actually worth doing. I really don't like doing a hell event just for the sake of doing a hell event. So, I mean, here, yes, if I was doing like I quite like. I think there's one that I've done 8 hell in 2 days. It's relatively low pressure. You're going to do 5 hell in 10 hours. You're probably going to end up doing some quests, some hell events you don't really want to do, because you can't really afford to miss too many hell events. You have to be watching the hell events all day long. Some people like this quest, 5 and 10 hours. The points are very good if you've got the time, by all means. But yeah, it's not my favorite. I would normally, for when I want to do a troops boost, just take increase my trained troops. Other people will say to you again, that's a waste of speeds. You could probably get the same points or more points for your speeds taking hell events. That is up to your preference. I don't really like watching the board. So speeds to make troops, for me primarily. It can also be for research. Research is always worth doing. I'm less keen on the other hell events. They're more difficult and they're not necessarily what I want to do. Merge pacts, I suppose, but you know, pact merges are really expensive. So yeah. Double rallying. You can see I've got 4 days left on my shield. I opened a 7-day shield because our kingdom is just in an escalation phase. They do that. So, you know, just sit tight, wait it out. It'll keep escalating for a while. Eventually there'll be several hundred billion guilds here, all fighting each other. One will come out on top, the others will leave, and then one by one the smaller guilds will leave, and then eventually the biggest leftover guild gets bored and they leave, and then we take base again and I'm overlord. Yay. Okay, that's off the topic. All right, Guildfest. What other... Look, there are a lot of low quests. A lot of low quests, like heal troops and do admin and guild quests. These are low quests. I wouldn't be interested in them. But if you're in a beginner guild, yes, save these up. You can get, I think, 120 points on the better quest for that. It's too low for us. But yeah, you know, you might decide, okay, my guild only wants 1,000 points, so I'll do some of these, or keep the scrolls as a stopgap. Refresh over here. Keep the scrolls as a stopgap in case. But in our guild, it's just too much of a low quest. But yeah, it's another thing that you can save up, especially if your guild is just starting out with Guildfest. So yeah, we've got Labyrinth quest, of course, as well. Gosh, that's Colosseum. Colosseum, there is also a low quest, but less interested in it if your guild is still in the beginner level. What you can do is skip Colosseum for a couple of days, and then the chances of ranking up are quite good. And there's a Colosseum rank up quest, very low points, not for us. Okay, yeah. Oh, I think I did mention Labyrinth. You need Holy Stars for that. They're quite expensive to buy. So yeah, you need to save up the free stars that you get. And then you'll hopefully be able to meet Guardians, which is the gemming gremlin. Right. So yeah, I mean, the moral of the story is really just watch what what kind of quests you might do, and keep the materials that you need in order to do these quests. Guild coins is another one. It's actually quite a reasonable one for, I think, 135 points. A million guild coins. As you can see, I can spend 1,000,000 guild coins and laugh. And yeah, well, hunting monsters. I don't really do this quest very often because it's hit monsters so and so many times. In order to make it efficient, you need to have A, a lot of energy, B, be willing to port around the map, smacking level 1s, because it's the number of hits, so the less energy you use per hit, the cheaper it is to do the quest. Some guilds don't want to let you kill level 1s, and then you sort of have to leave these half-dead monsters all over the place, which I don't believe in. I don't agree with it. I'm quite happy to see a dead level 1. So our members sort of have to jump around if they take this quest. I really, really don't like it when they do this thing of, only send one hero and then whack the same level 1 multiple times. It's such a waste of energy. You could be getting a guild gift with every hit if you've got a reasonable hunt power. So yeah, I don't agree with that. I'm inclined to say just kill the darn thing. But yeah, that's how some people do it, so I suppose one should mention it. There is a plain, straightforward train troops quest. It's not worth doing. You're going to use a ton of speeds. Go for increase might quests rather than train troops if you want to train troops. Increase might research is also very nice, especially if you have a big research coming along, and it's sort of nearly finished, and you can just speed that through, and you A for away. Another thing that I really, really like saving, and this is for all general increased might, so you get increased total might quests. You also get increased might quests. So in other words, that would be over here. Turf quests. So you do get a reasonably low quest, 140 something points, and I think you have to make 140k, but you have to have these quests saved up in order to do it. I don't do it because it's a low quest, but I have already completed multiple increase might, 4 million might, from saving up these and then just going through them, click, 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 and within minutes I've got 190 points, over 190 points from that. At the moment, of course, I'm not going to get very far because I don't have a lot of these saved up. I'll save them up again for a couple of months, and then once again I can either do increase might quests, which is a low scoring one, or I could just do increase might, total might, and then I just go click, 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 click. If I've got any shortfall, I train a few troops. So another thing to save up. I think you're starting to see the pattern. Save up stuff for Guildfest, because if you don't, you're going to be reliant on Darkness quests, pretty much. You're not even sure if there are any other quests that you can do with. Oh, and gather and do Darkness is all you can do if you haven't saved up stuff. There might be something else that I've missed, but you really, really want to save up stuff. And that's the moral of the story. Keep your speeds. There are reasons to spend your speeds between fests, and if you do, just know what you're doing and know that you're making your fest more difficult, and consider whether you really want to do that. But yeah, I mean, you might see a Watcher Hell event, research, and just use your speeds on that because you want your Watcher. But you do that, then you must know, I'm not going to have speeds. I better have other things. I better have Holy Stars. I better have luck tokens for Tycoon, and so on and so on. By having a lot of stuff available, when you hit Guildfest, you can make a high score. You can take more quests. There's a bigger variety of quests that you can take, and it just takes a heck of a lot of the pressure off. So those are my Guildfest tips outside of Guildfest. Enjoy it.